Okay, 5 minutes on why I think phone calls are better than text messaging, and kind of why I wish that more of us would go back to having more phone calls with friends, coworkers, family. Obviously, text message is great, and it's been a great invention, a good technology that is really convenient to use. I mean, I'm from the generation, I remember when text messaging emerged. There were cell phones, and then suddenly there was text messaging. And I can remember at first being like, why would I want to text? It just seems like so much more work. And it was a lot more work when it first came out, and you had to use like a keypad. But then, like sidekicks came out, and now you had like a easy way to text message, and it just got easier. And it made a lot of sense, and it does make a lot of sense in a lot of situations. If I just want to shoot off a message, kind of like shooting off a letter that can be read on its own time, it's not super urgent. There's no immediate need for a response. That makes sense. I get it. But at the same time, I feel like everything is shifted to that. And I mean, in some ways, it feels like we don't think we have time for phone calls. But in reality, text messaging often takes more time. This is one of those illusions of time saving that I think when you look into it could probably be proven to be slightly incorrect. It seems like, well, if I jump on a call, it sort of like takes time, and maybe I'm busy, I've got things going on. But I mean, a phone call and a talk could take like, what, 3, 5 minutes to discuss something. And text messaging back and forth over the span of a communication, I think can eat up a lot more time, especially for our brains, because I'm not the only one that is aware of this. There's lots of people that have written articles and posted things about, all the problems with text messaging, how there's a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of miscommunication. You get a text message and you sort of project your idea of what their tone of voice might be, or some kind of hidden implication, and then maybe, like things can go way off the rails with text messaging. I mean, I know everybody has had a situation where there was a complete miscommunication, and it just had to do with the text messaging element. And then you get on a call with somebody. The best example for myself is with work. Like you could you could spend a lot of time messaging about something for work, and be relatively confused with the messages, and then you get on a call, and for me, a lot of that confusion can be resolved really quickly. And I feel like, with this growing kind of desire for greater connection with other people, more community, more connection, more intimacy, like while wondering like why it's gotten so hard. We have all these tools, social media and messaging apps, and yet, look at the data coming out that shows that people feel lonelier than ever before, more depressed than ever before, less connected than they've ever felt. There's this hunger, this desire for connection and better relationships. And yet at the same time, something like, you know, just instead of text messaging, maybe get on the phone more often, maybe have a phone call. That's how I feel. And that doesn't really prove that phone calls are better than text messaging. in any way. But I think for myself, I feel that in more situations, phone calls are better. And then if you wanted to go even further, in-person conversations are even better, right? But I think I think going all the way to like this whole text messaging culture, I think it's the wrong direction. But I predict it'll come back. Actually, people people will rediscover vocal messaging and rediscover that vocal messaging through the mediums of phone calls and in-person conversations will help us improve our connections with other people, help us improve our ability to communicate what we are actually trying to communicate, um, improve our self awareness as well. Um, yeah, lots of things. So, anyways, that's my 5 minutes. Thanks.